Hi, I just wanted to talk to you and give you feedback from Module 3. First of all, thank you so much for completing all of your assignments. Most of you did all of your work with the exception of a couple of people, and I really appreciate it. If you can get your work done before the night of the due date, then I can give you feedback and allow you to redo it if you need to, so keep that in mind. I think the first thing I want to do is talk to you about the lab. What I was looking for in the lab was that you had a data chart, that you had a inverse square graph for F versus R. So that meant that I needed to see the graph. It needed to have labeled axes with force on the y-axis and R on the, or distance on the x-axis. And I needed to see that curve fit. So I needed to see that you had inserted a curve fit to verify that the points actually go through an inverse square. The other thing I needed you to do was to have a force versus 1 over r graph with a linear fit to it, showing once again that force was directly related to the inverse square of distance between the charges. And basically that's what this was about, was just that you were verifying that relationship. And you were doing it experimentally. And that's what I needed you to talk about in the discussion, in the conclusion. And then for the extra credit, if you lost any points for anything on the lab, I went ahead and included the extra credit on that. But if you had 100, I went ahead and told you that I would add that 5 points to your lowest lab grade. So at the end of the semester. So just keep that in mind. And once again, you guys are doing a great job giving complete sentences and treating this as a university assignment and not just, half doing it. As far as your homework goes, so what I did for that is I included the solutions in your feedback in Blackboard. So you can actually click on that link or copy that link and go to the solutions. And what I'm looking for is that you have, for the linear charge density, that you have a series of pluses with a cylinder around it with dA and E drawn, and then R is labeled and L is labeled. I'm also looking to see that you're going step by step by step, telling me what the charge density is equal to, and then starting out with Gauss's law and solving the left side and the right side to get your final answer. And then for the for the insulated cylinder, I wanted you to draw a cylinder with a radius bigger than the diameter of the cylinder. And then I wanted you to label D and R and L, draw DA and draw E at lines. And then I wanted you to, once again, start with Gauss's law and the charge density row and solve each side of it and derive that equation. And most of you did that. So I did not go through and nitpick every little thing, but if you did not draw your diagrams very well, or if you did not label things very well, it was not very clear, or that you did not show your work, you did not make 100, okay? I do want you to take time. Very first thing is to look at your work and compare it to the solutions. And in the solutions, I also want to, let me just open this up here for you so you can see it. So, I've got everything drawn out nice and pretty. And then, once again, here's my diagrams. But notice that I really want you to be able to answer these. And one thing I did do is I included a video that and the time, about 4 minutes for you to watch, that goes over the linear charge, and it goes over infinite insulating cylinder, finding applying Gauss's law for outside of the insulated cylinder and inside it. And any of those are fair game for your midterm. So it's very important that you do watch these and that you take notes on them and that you have them under control so that on the midterm you can, in a lockdown browser, be able to, solve those problems, because you'll have 6 problems on the midterm and that will be one of you. I'm just telling you outright, you're going to have something similar to this homework. So I've given you resources to study with and to prepare with. And I have synced the grades in the grade book to your homework. And if you have a question about that, if it didn't sync over right, or I think one person had contacted me, they were having a problem with something, and I can't find who that was. I'm sorry. For some reason, I don't see it. I couldn't figure out who it was. So if you need me to make an adjustment in that homework grade for mastering, just let me know. Just send me a message and I will, if I didn't get it done as I promised. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and go ahead and get started on the next module.